Hold my hoof, hold my heart. Chapter 2. A Ride Through the Snow. Crystal traveled farther than she expected through the night. With the sight of the first mountain at sunrise, Crystal landed to boost her strength for the high flying to come. I guess I'm lucky I decided to get boots. Wonder how many times I'll have to stop for a rest. Guess it doesn't matter, as long as I get over the mountains, of course, Crystal remarked. Going over the mountains, princess? Ah! Crystal jumped. Didn't mean to scare you, the stranger said. Who are you? What are you? Crystal said with growing curiosity. And how do you know who I am? I do not know who you are, but I do know that you are the princess of the Changeling hive belonging to Queen Snow, the stranger said. I'm afraid you haven't heard about the hive's fall, Crystal said quietly. Miss, even if the queen dies, you're still going to be princess. It's who you were made to be. Now, to answer your questions, I am Huckley. Excuse the strange name my sister named me. I am the northern white bear. The southern white bears are more aggressive. I guess that's why we live on opposite sides of the world. So, what about you? Tell me about yourself. I guess you need to get up over the mountains. I can carry you if you'd like, Huckley said. Yes, that would be greatly appreciated. I suppose you already know about changelings and how we feed? Crystal answered. Yes, I'm aware of that. My mother told me to go to the Crystal Empire, but my hive didn't leave me with much love, so I'm not thinking I'm going to be able to make it there on my own, Crystal said. My territory doesn't stretch all the way to the Crystal Empire, but I can get you most of the way, miss, Buckley said. Yes, thank you. Oh, and my name's Crystal. My territory is roughly a day's travel at a slow walking pace. I'm sure I could make it there in a half a day if I moved quicker. But in the meantime, you should get some rest. I know you've been flying all night, Buckley said. Thank you. I'm not sure what I'd do without you. When they got to the edge of Buckley's territory, it had been a little over half a day. They exchanged goodbyes, and Crystal was off on her own towards the Crystal Empire. A changeling doctor in the Crystal Empire. The doctor was informed about the incoming earthquakes from the Badlands Hive, but was not expecting the silence that followed, or the amount of patience that came from the Crystal Empire, or Princess Cadence coming in for a checkup. Dr. Nix walked into the next patient's room, only to find Princess Cadence pacing round it. By how uncontrolled her walking was, she assumed she was there for quite a while. Probably a day, maybe even more. Good morning, Princess. Or, I guess it would be night at this point. Are you doing okay? Dr. Nix asked. I'm doing okay. I'm just anxious, that's all. I was worried with all the shaking that my little filly wouldn't be all right. I understand the wait, Cadence said. You're more worried about my health than your baby's, aren't you? Nix asked. No, no, if that were the case, I wouldn't be here. You look tired, Cadence said. I get it, but I rely on love of my patients to keep me going, Nix said sarcastically. Always so cheesy, Cadence said. Yes, yes. Now, you want an ultrasound, I presume? Nix asked. Yes, Cadence said quickly. You're lucky then. I'm the only doctor who has an ultrasound machine to myself. I'll get it set up and stop bragging, Nix said, leaving the room. Nix assumed it would be as easy as bringing it into the room and plugging it into the magical outlets. But of course, it wouldn't be that easy. 2 hours later, Nix had 5 royal guards chasing down a thief with Cadence and Shining Armor in hot pursuit. By the time they finally got the ultrasound done, with it being basically morning again, your filly looks just fine. All the chaos to find out nothing was wrong. Well, I suppose if you see anything that looks suspicious, come back. As long as I didn't miss anything, you should be having her in about 2 weeks, Nix insisted. Thank you so much. I hope you get some sleep tonight, Cadence said. Same to you, Nix insisted. Although Nix was tired, the amount of love energy she was able to collect from Princess Cadence canceled it out greatly. But she couldn't go back home. There were still more patients to take care of, and her home was covered in snow. She would have to wait for it to be cleared or fully melt. 7 a.m. in the Crystal Empire, 3rd day. The aura from the Crystal Heart melted a great deal of the snow from the avalanche area, only for most of it to freeze back over, leaving doors, windows, chimneys, any sort of entrance blocked off from the outside world. Cadence realized that most earthquakes don't last for an hour, let alone 3. So she posted guards around the edges of the empire so that whatever threat loomed beyond the mountains would be caught early. And they definitely caught something. A young-looking changeling fell from the sky and tumbled in the soft snow below, just outside the Crystal Empire, unconscious. Shining Armor was one of the guards on duty that hour. She was like no changeling ever seen, with a white carapace instead of the typical black, a light teal mane with a streak of light green, a jagged hole-ridden horn, and butterfly-like gossamer wings. She didn't look very healthy either, all carapace and bone. What stood out, however, was the multiple scarves, boots, and the saddlebags with his sister's cutie mark on it. Remembering not to judge a book by its cover, Shining Armor had the guards deliver the changeling to the Crystal Empire's Royal Hospital. He took the bags and followed close behind the guards that were carrying the changeling. Then they got to the hospital, and all the doctors were occupied. The only one that was available was ordered to take a break. Is there at least an open room where we can put this changeling? Shining Armor asked. Yes, I believe there is. If you would follow me, the receptionist said. As they walked through the halls, the nurses would give disbelieving glances and talk amongst themselves, spreading rumors through the hospital rather quickly. News reached Dr. Nix within minutes. She was listening in on a conversation that just walked in. What do you think? Nurse 1 said. Not sure. I don't want to go anywhere near that thing, Nurse 2 said. Same. No way they're making me deal with them, Nurse 1 interjected. And who is them? Nix interjected. You haven't heard? There's a changeling in the hospital, Nurse 2 said. What? Where? Nix asked. Second floor, I think. They had some guards. Nix didn't even bother to listen to the rest of what she had to say, and she was out the door. Nix took on a quick trotting pace that quickly turned into a gallop. She was determined to find this changeling. Second floor, room 100, was getting some attention. Even if the ponies passing by didn't know what was in the room, the 2 guards outside made it clear it was important. Inside was 1 guard, shining armor, and a young changeling strapped to the bed. She was starting to wake. If Crystal wasn't awake before Nix entered, then she was now. Nix literally shoved the guards aside to get into the room, knocking over one of the guards and causing the other to go into a fit of laughter. The last thing she heard before fully entering the room was, "You got pushed over by a girl?" "Miss, are you alright?" Shining Armor asked. Yes, I'm alright. When I heard there was a changeling admitted to the hospital, I kinda lost my cool," Nix said. "That's fine. What's your name?" Shining Armor asked. "Oh, yes, my name is Nix, Dr. Nix," Nix said. "Oh, so you're the doctor who was ordered to take a break. You have something against changelings? Or..." Shining Armor asked. No, that's not it. I really like changelings. I think we could get along if we tried. It's just some changelings are nasty, and we just thought all changelings were nasty," Nix retorted. Before anything else was said, however, there was a groan and a light bounce sound coming from the bed. The occupants of the room finally noticed the changeling was awake.